Hello, hello. I'm Martha Jackson, designer and founder of my eco-fashion brand, Restored by Design. I've newly moved to Saranac, New York. This is my studio. Welcome. And I wanted to share with the creative community something I just love to do, which is make fabric flowers. Part of my brand is to do a lot of repurposing, using up pre-loved materials. I use a lot of remnants, vintage fabric, vintage lace. So today I wanted to share one of my favorite things to do, which is take a plain jacket. Now this is a denim jacket that I'm going to add embellishment to and turn it into something very unique and special. Because it's spring getting warmer outside and Mother's Day just around the corner, I wanted to do something with flowers. This is something you can share with your daughter. So pretty simple. Let's get started. I've added these flowers to this jacket, just pin them on, and you can see a variety of textures of denim. I like to use denim because it's got some stiffness to it, and when it is washed, it kind of gets all fuzzy, and I like that finish. So what I do is make strips from, let's say, a variety of jeans. I've cut the hems off, or let's say done cutoffs, and have a lot of denim material accumulated and different colors because I like to do different sizes, textures, and colors. I've prepared a how-to here. I start with strips. This is about 2 inches by 7 inches, average size. And what I've done is used soap as my pencil, if you will, on the denim. It's soft and I can draw easily on the fabric. And as you can see, I've made kind of petal shapes, elongated scallops with the separating lines here. This is the one that's pre-cut to show you. So I've pre-cut these shapes out of the denim and left a solid strip along the bottom, as you can see. I like to use a nice long needle. This is about 2.5 inches long, and good sturdy thread, not a regular sewing thread, but something you'd use for buttons, for instance. So I've threaded the needle, put a knot at the end, take my cut strip, start in the back with the needle, go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. As you can see, it's gathering on my needle. That's why I like to use a long needle, so I can get all the way to the end of the strip, and I end up with it on the top rather than the back. Pull the needle through, and it'll bunch it up. You can see you kind of have a cluster. And then what I like to do is at the very end, overlap with the beginning. So I overlap the last petal on top of the first petal, and then go in and out again, catching the back. And I pull it as tight as I can. So you can see you get kind of a, in this case, 5-pointed flower gathered in the center. I pulled as tight as I can, and then I just like to put a knot in the back, so I go back in and I make a knot. And I just put it back through. Whoops, not like that. Cut the end. And I have a flower. So I check and see how it comes out. This last petal, I don't like how long it is. I'm going to cut it a little bit. So I cut that off. And there's my flower. Now you can add something to the middle. A lot of times what I suggest is while your needle is in there, come back through and maybe you can do a button center. I like to do the petals first and then I'll come back to it and put a bead in the middle or a couple of stamens kind of idea. But that's my first flower. Here is another type of denim. I cut this one a little bit differently. As you can see, more space between each petal. And I'm going to do the same thing. Make a knot. Start again. In the back, in and out, in and out. I'm making pretty big stitches, as you can see. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. If you don't have a longer needle, you can go halfway, pull, and go in and out again. And end up in the back. Pull it all the way through. And you can see this crazy bunch I have. So I'm going to take that last petal, bring it around. In this case, I might take the bottom of that strip and put it on top, because what it'll do is it'll make a little fuzzy center when it's all dry, after it's washed. The edges get frayed more and it's very soft looking. Anyway, let me take that, overlap it, come back up, through and back down, and pull it tight. Because I had more space in between these petals, you can see it looks a little different. Same process, a little variation to make it look different. I'm going to go in the back, make a knot, pull it tight. I like to just be extra sure that that's going to stay. Okay, cut the end. Now I just kind of play with the flower a bit. Like I said, that's going to look a little bit different than this one, but I like the variety. Just to add variety, what I did was I took a nice soft cotton. This was too droopy to use on its own, so I used interfacing and pressed it on there. So it's nice and stiff. It's another way you can work with it. And you can see my straight strip. Save a little bit of time. I'm just going to start by rounding that edge, go around. Leave my solid strip at the bottom. Come back. They don't have to be the same. Beauty of a flower in nature is that each petal may be different. So one more. Last one, we're going to give it a better shape all the way, like that. So that's my strip. Take my needle and thread. This is the top side, so I'm starting in the back with the knot, going in and out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Ending up on the top side. Oops. Came out of my needle. Rethreading. Bringing that around to overlap. And then I'm going in and out again to catch it all together. Give it a good pull. And tie a knot in the back. Because I've used fusible interfacing, the back does look different than the front. And it gives it a little bit of stiffness, so it'll hold the petal shape. Check your shape in the front. I want this to be a little more gathered here, a little too much space. So I'm going to go back in and pull it again. Knot. That didn't work for me. And at the end. So I have a bright one that I did. It has fusible interfacing on the back, as you can see. Kind of like that idea. And that's the start of more. And I'm going to keep going. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, but I want a lot of flowers on this jacket. One more thing. I cut a very small strip. This is 1.25 inches by 6 inches. That's what I use to make this little flower here. So depending on your strip and depending how you cut it, you will get different sizes. Anyway, enjoy. Have happy flower making. And thanks. Tune in again because I'd love to show you some more progress that I'm going to make on this. Bye for now.